Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Movie Snobs. As always, my name is Sunshine, and today we return to one of my favorite cinematic universes. One that knows how to make high-quality movies and develop storylines that make sense. Sometimes. That's right, today we look at what I believe is the best Thor movie to date, Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is the third movie released, specifically dedicated to Thor, and about the 17th or so that lives in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially if you count that first horrible Incredible Hulk movie. As we prepare for Marvel to release the next Avengers movie, we're being fed with some filler movies to pass the time and explain what our favorite heroes are up to in their off hours. For the most part, I enjoy these films, but their plots generally are forgettable, as I know that a lot of them are just used to facilitate the plot for the next Avengers movie. Thor Ragnarok, though, does a decent job of being a good exception. While obviously all the movies in the MCU, except for actual Avengers movies, could be seen as setups, I felt that this new Thor was good at being a happy middle ground, combining setup context for both Thor and the Hulk with a plotline and character motivations for the Greek god and his friends. It did its job well, and served its purpose while still being an actually entertaining film. Thor Ragnarok features Thor in a light we don't normally see him. He's extremely funny and quick-witted in this movie, which makes the overall story extremely enjoyable. He is fighting to prevent Ragnarok, or the end of Asgard, his home world. Through this adventure, Thor continues his shaky relationship with Loki, as well as mend the divide between himself and the Hulk, who has been stuck as the big green guy for quite a while. Thor's adventure explores a ton of subplots, from what has happened to Hulk, to Thor's familial future, and even the future of Thor's entire people. Having been someone who wasn't exactly a fan of Thor, I really enjoyed this new version of him. Before, he was viewed as a god, which, to be fair, he is, and therefore I never really worried about him. While he was trying to help people on Earth, in the end, he had his own world, and generally couldn't be worried about what happened to us here. This new movie, though, showed a different, more caring side of Thor, and changed my opinions of his motivations drastically. I'm excited to see where this new take on Thor will go, and how the ending of this movie is going to impact Thor's future in the Avengers. Looking at the action and comedy, this movie was great. The fighting scenes are what you can expect from a Marvel movie, but there weren't honestly a ton of the stereotypical shots. This movie stuck more to a story than the idea of what if we fought a seemingly unending wave of henchmen that we dispatched with ease because we're just that good. Don't get me wrong, it does happen from time to time in this movie. After all, Thor's in it. But I feel the focus was more on the story here, and that's really what matters. Additionally, not only did we get to hear Hulk talk more than we ever have, we got some hilarious back and forth between the Hulk, Thor, and a variety of other characters. I've always loved Loki and Thor's banter, as their quick wordplay reminds me of my own brother and I, but Thor's ability to do this with several other supporting characters, including the Hulk, made for a really enjoyable movie that was appropriately funny while still telling the story that it needed to. Lastly, I want to briefly touch the idea of this movie setting up Avengers. While it's clear that yes, the events of this movie will move us closer to the Infinity Wars and the next couple of Avengers movies, I want to reemphasize how good this movie was at not bringing that fact up. Throughout the entire film, I never once thought about how this interaction, or that fight, will impact the future of other Avengers. Besides good banter and funny references to other characters in the MCU, I never lost focus about the story in front of me or thought about other characters that weren't even present. It was really well done, and I'm glad that they finally got at least one of the Thor movies right.
I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh. And then I went on a journey of self-discovery.
Overall, this movie was really enjoyable. While it wasn't a high bar to pass, Thor Ragnarok was by far the best Thor movie we've ever had. The plot was enjoyable, and while it was a bit flimsy and felt a little forced at times, it did serve its purpose to move the story along and keep us on track. The action scenes were enjoyable, and the highly anticipated fights between Thor and the Hulk definitely delivered in terms of entertainment. Lastly, the comedy of this movie was really well done and gave me a new side of Thor to actually appreciate. This movie will lead us to the Infinity Wars, but for its runtime, I wasn't concerned with that, but only with enjoying this cool take on Thor. While I don't think this movie was the best solo Marvel film yet or anything like that, I do think that it was well done and a really enjoyable movie, and I'd have to give Thor Ragnarok an overall B+ grade. Let me know what you thought of this new Marvel movie in the comments below, or tweet us at ZTVGoofingOff, and don't forget to use the hashtag MovieSnobs to let me know what you want to see me cover next. That's all for now though. My name is Sunshine, and this has been Movie Snobs.